Shalom to the Bialik family. Last time I spoke with you about how we can conduct our Seder, our Pesach meal tonight in a different way. And my goodness, what a different Pesach Seder it is going to be tonight. We discussed how we have the autonomy to turn the Seder and the experiences into our own. And I want to expand on that theme today by telling you a story from the Talmud, the oral tradition, from the book of Bava Metzia. Comes from around the 2nd century BC. The rabbis in the Sanhedrin, which is the rabbinical court, up to 70 rabbis, were arguing about the kashrut of an oven. Now, normally decisions were made in this rabbinical court by a majority. And the discussion was about whether an oven that is made of sand and clay and clad in cement can be made ritually impure. Does it have the status of an oven? And 69 of the rabbis said one thing, and Rabbi Eliezer said another. So normally you would go with the majority, and the 69 would go with them, and Rabbi Eliezer would be outvoted. But Rabbi Eliezer was convinced he was right. So Rabbi Eliezer said to the Sanhedrin, "If the law is with me, the carob tree outside will uproot itself." They all rushed to the window, all the rabbis, to look at the carob tree, and sure enough, the carob tree started to uproot. The rabbis shook their fist at the carob tree and said, "Law is not decided by trees, go back to how you were." Rabbi Eliezer was so convinced he was right, he said, "Okay, if the halakha, if the law is with me, the stream outside will reverse its flow." They rushed to the window, and sure enough, the stream, the water started to go upwards. Rabbi Yeshua shook his fist at the stream and said, "Law is not decided by water, go back to how you were." Rabbi Eliezer was exasperated. He said, "If the law is with me, the walls of this Bet Midrash, this house of learning, will prove it." And sure enough, the walls started to crumble. Rabbi Yeshua shook his fist at the walls. He said, "Your job is to support the learning, not to decide on it. Go back to how you were." And the Talmud tells us that they went almost back to how they were out of respect for Rabbi Eliezer. And it says also, you can still see them today. Talmudic joke. Rabbi Eliezer was so convinced he was right, he called in the big guns. And he said, "If the halakha, if the law is with me, a bat kol, a holy voice, will confirm it." And sure enough, a holy voice, the voice of God, came down from the heavens and said, "Why do you dispute with Rabbi Eliezer? For the law is with him in every matter." That should have been the end of it. But Rabbi Yeshua shook his fist at the heavens and said the famous line in Jewish tradition, "Lo b'shamayim hi," not in heaven. The Torah is not in heaven. When you gave us the Torah, you gave it to us. You did not put it across the sea for us to cross the sea to go and get. You did not put it across the desert for us to cross the desert to access it. You gave it to us. At this, the holy voice chuckled and said, "My children have defeated me and retreated." It's a very challenging story. It's of the supremacy of the legal process over that of the technical. The rabbis were probably technically right. And as far as the process was concerned, they should have had their way. But the point is, Torah is not in heaven. It is not inaccessible. It is not purely esoteric. It is not for others. It is for us. We each live our own version of Jewish culture and Jewish values rooted in our traditions. And tonight, we will find our own way of conducting our Pesach Sederim. For some it will be halachic. Some it will be following the absolute technicality of Jewish law. And that is valid and great. For some it will not be halachic. For some it will be using digital medium. For some it will be, as we said the other day, chasing each other around with giant spring onions to beat ourselves over the head in replication of the slavery in Egypt. And for others, there will be unique family traditions that we will follow. So as we enter new and uncharted territory for our planet and our community, Celebrate Pesach. Enjoy it. Don't be a slave to what was. Be an optimist and a practicalist for what can be and for what will work for you and your family and community. I wish you all a Chag Sameach, a happy Pesach, a kosher Pesach in your own way, and most importantly, a healthy Pesach of good relationships, of well-being, and of communal health. Chag Sameach.